Hello, welcome back. It's time for a little update. I've made some progress on my 2021 Honda Ridgeline rebuild, and I just thought I'd share a little update. The last video you saw me showing where I'd welded the subframe back together, and I got the radiator surround, the radiator support installed, and since then I've reinstalled the transmission auxiliary cooler. I put new lines on, they've been damaged, and I reinstalled the battery tray. I was able to put the battery tray back in with all 4 bolts, even though I put a plate underneath it on the frame. I put a surface shield protectant underneath it because I'm in the Northeast, and the battery tray went back together fine. It does have a fan in the battery box, and I think it's thermostatically controlled, which is pretty cool. I ordered some more parts. I ordered some of the wrong parts and sent them back, and I'm at the point now where it's time to change out this subframe. This is the front subframe. Your A-arms mount on the sides. Your engine rear mount is here. Your engine front mount is here. This one has a sensor in it. I'm not sure what it senses, but it's got a sensor in it. Then it's got a little vibration donut over here. And then it's got a separate mount for the driver's side, right side of the engine over here, the transmission. When I bought this subframe, it had the bottom of this mount included, the front mount was included, and the side mount was included. That's just the way they used Auto Parts sent it. I didn't pay extra for that. Sometimes when you buy used parts, they take off every single part that's bolted to the specific part you bought, and sometimes they leave them on there. In this case, they left them on there. That's fine with me. I'm grateful to have all those mounts, but I had already bought all 3 mounts from an OEM company. It's not OEM though. They call themselves OEM because they're OEM style mounts. So I'm going to use the original Honda. I wish I'd figured this out before the return date for those other mounts, but I'm going to be selling the other mounts probably. It cost me quite a bit of money, but this is how I learn, and I'm not upset about it. I'm happy that the OEM mounts came with it. I'd rather have OEM mounts. I'm going to take the camera and show you a couple things about this frame, and show you the items that I installed. The exhaust goes underneath here, so I'm dropping the exhaust down where it bolts to the catalytic converters are attached to the engine. I got all those nuts to come free. I used MAP gas. I held the MAP gas torch on there for 1 minute on every nut, and they came right off. And I'm going to be replacing them with silicone bronze nuts, and I'm going to be using nickel high temp anti-seize, because again, I'm in the Northeast, and the only reason those nuts came off is because this truck is only a few years old. They hadn't done anything to keep them from seizing up. Every bolt that I put back in this truck so far, I put back with nickel anti-seize on it, or never seize, depending on what you want to call it. I'll show you that product, and I'm hoping that I've got the engine hanging off of an engine mount right now from Harbor Freight. I'll show it to you. And I'm hoping I can leave the engine and transmission hanging there and remove this frame that's underneath there by going over the back of the transmission, or the transfer case. I think I can do it, but I'm not positive yet. If I can't do that, then I got to drop the whole engine and transmission out, and that's extra work, but I'll do what I have to do, but hopefully I won't have to do that. So, let me grab the camera. I'll show you a few things. Say hi, Django. Django just wants to play. It's sunny and 10 degrees here today, so we're outside. It's a beautiful day. This is the front mount. This is where it plugs in. I don't know what in the world that does, but this is a little vibration ring. So I guess it absorbs harmonics. This is the side, the driver's side transmission mount. And this is the rear engine mount. Hopefully I can get to this mount on the original subframe and remove this subframe. Also see that there's mounts here. All 4 of these are mounted in rubber. Now this is great. Only time I'd seen this before was on a Mercedes-Benz, and it really isolates a lot of vibration. So I'm really looking forward to driving this truck. I don't know if I've told you yet, but I've never actually ridden in one of these trucks, so I'm looking forward to having it. This is the auxiliary mount. There's a bar that comes up here, and it mounts to a piece that goes across here. The piece that goes across here was missing, and I didn't realize that. So I ordered a new one, no big deal. Not new, but good used. I put a couple of pipes on the coolant lines so I could eliminate the radiator and drive the truck back and forth a little bit. So I did a video on this transcooler system. I'll get a little closer on it. You can see that's the heat exchanger, the warmer. It's got the 2 lines that go to the antifreeze, and then these 2 pipes come out of the back, and they go down and they bolt into the transmission. These are your transmission cooler lines. Now these are your auxiliary transmission cooler lines, and they plug in using a push to connect fitting. So if you have a Pilot, you have to remove this entire heat exchanger to install these pipes on the back of your heat exchanger and then reinstall everything. But it's very easy to do if your whole bumpers and your radiator and your intercoolers or condensing coolers been removed. If not, I don't know if you could do it. They say you can, but it sure wouldn't be easy. Anyway, here's a close-up. I couldn't find any close-ups on how to mount these. I couldn't remember how they were, and everything was mangled because this is where it took the hit. So I straightened these out, and I think everything is fine. I don't have any kinks, and I don't think I'm going to have any kinks. There's a vent tube that comes out of the bottom of this battery tray that brings in fresh air. I forgot to put that in, so I'm going to take the battery back out at some point and put that vent tube back in, but that's no big deal. This is the engine support bar. I bought it from Harbor Freight, and it wasn't quite wide enough. As you can see, I bought 2 of them, and I cut the one off here, and I just bolted them together using the bars that come for the hangers. It sits on here just fine. Now this side, I had to move it inside, so I added a couple of C-clamps to hold everything together. It looks sketchy, but it's supporting the engine and transmission just fine right now. I did get this restarted, and I was able to drive it back and forth, but whenever I put it in gear and release the brake, it would take itself out of gear and put itself in park every time I released the brake. And there was a warning light that said the hood was open. So I posted online on the Facebook page, and I asked people, was it putting itself back in park because the hood was open? And everyone said it does that when the door's open and your seat belt's unbuckled. And I think the door might have been a little bit ajar, so that might have been what was going on. But another guy said it happens when the hood when the hood is open as well. So I'm not sure who was right, but either way, it was kind of scary that it kept putting itself in park because I thought something was damaged on the transmission. But I think it's just because the hood was open or because the door was open. Or it was ajar. It wasn't actually open. So here are your AR mounts. And as you can see, The front one mounts right there. See, this is your front transmit or your left transmission mount. That's damaged. I have a new one for there. And then your rear mount goes, it's got 2 bolts, 2 brackets, and they go in these 2 bolts over here. You can see those 2 bolts. Those are the same bolts that hold down your anti-sway bar as well. Now I took off the steering arms. What do you call them? The name escapes me right now, but it's got good brakes on here. I'll tell you that. I'm looking forward to having these double piston brakes. All this is going to be painted with Surface Shield, so it is rust preventative. And I think that's where I'm going to stop the video. That's quite a bit. I just wanted to give a little update and tell you that I'm still working on the truck. I couldn't work on it last week. I had to cover a guy at work for the whole week. And then this week my dog was sick, but she's feeling much better now. And it's a beautiful 10-degree day here and sunny. And we're looking to seeing some smash mouth football in the frigid temperatures. So hey, ho, let's go Buffalo. Hope they make it to the Super Bowl. Thanks for watching.